Don't see yourself as a successful person? Well, maybe you're just not seeing the signs. Here are personality traits that show whether or not you'll be a successful person. And if none of these fit your current personality, don't worry, you can still adapt these signs and change your course to a more successful one. 8. You're incredibly empathetic. So unless you somehow miraculously invent or create a product that is brand spanking new, which in this day and age is almost virtually impossible unless it's one of the most basic of ideas, like the Snuggie, who the hell had the time to think of that anyway? Your business or profession is based on fulfilling an existing need or solving a problem. It's virtually impossible to see a problem without the ability to put yourself in someone else's shoes. It's because of this small detail that truly defines a business person. But exceptionally successful leaders go a step further, regularly putting themselves in the shoes of their employees. Here's what that looks like in practice. Success isn't an upward trending line. A better way to describe it is that success is more like a circle, because no matter how high your business and your ego soars, success still comes back to your employees. 7. You ignore the 40-hour work week hype. Studies show that working more than 40 hours a week decreases productivity. This is true, and it's recommended that you do take breaks when possible so that you can keep your mind fresh and not suffer from burnout. But try telling that to a successful person. Successful people work smarter, sure, but they also outwork their competition. This, to a successful person, is basic 101 knowledge. The author Richard North Patterson tells a great story about Robert Kennedy. Kennedy was seeking to indict Teamsters head Jimmy Hoffa, who some still believe is hanging out in Argentina with Elvis and Jim Morrison. Well, one night it was said that Kennedy worked on the Hoffa case until about 2 a.m. On his way home, he passed the Teamsters building and saw the lights were still on in Hoffa's office. So instead of doing what any normal person would do by going home to get a good night's rest after a hectic long day at work, he instead turned back around and went right back to work. That is dedication and shows that anyone who's looking to be successful needs to be hungry for it. There will always be people who are smarter and more talented than we are. Successful people simply want it more. They're ruthless, especially with themselves. In short, they work smarter and they also work harder. That's the real secret of their success. 6. You see money as a responsibility, not a reward. We know for young people who get their first job, money to them is a reward. I mean, who remembers what they did with their first paycheck? Most of us probably spent it on the most pointless thing ever, like a new TV or a new high-end PC. In that sense, it does feel like a reward. However, when you get older and older, the idea of money being a reward quickly vanishes as it becomes more of a responsibility than a reward. But that's for non-business owners. To older people who earn money, it's all about paying the bills. For business owners, it's their livelihood, not a reward. Successful people don't see money solely as a personal reward. They see money as a way to grow a business, reward and develop employees, and give back to the community. In short, not just to make their own lives better, but to improve the lives of other people too. Sure, you're always going to see that one successful person blow all their cash on fancy cars and houses every other month, but most successful people will take their money they've worked hard for and invest it back into their business. And most importantly, they do so without fanfare, because the true reward is always in the act, not the recognition. 5. You have something to prove to yourself. So who defines who is and who isn't successful? Who decides that exactly? All we've got to say is, screw what other people think. Success is something that only you can really see in yourself, not what some random guy thinks. Despite this, you're always going to run into some person who will try to tell you that you're not good enough for something or will heavily criticize your life and experiences. Don't look at this as a bad thing, as many people use this criticism as a driving force for their success, as they have a burning desire to prove other people wrong. That's a great motivator. Incredibly successful people are driven by something deeper and more personal. True drive, commitment, and dedication spring from a desire to prove something to the most important person of all, you. In the end, it doesn't really matter who you impress, as it all really boils down to whether you're happy with whatever it is you've done. 4. There is no such thing as work life and personal life. That doesn't exist because to you, it's all life. Symbolic work-life boundaries are almost impossible to maintain. Why? Well, let's say you're a startup company. You yourself are the business. Your business is your life, just like your life is your business, which is also true for family, friends, and interests. Because of this, you don't feel the need to separate both your work life and personal life, because all those things make you who you are. Incredibly successful people find ways to include family instead of ways to exclude work. They find ways to include interests, hobbies, passions, and personal values in their daily business lives. If you can't, you're not living, you're just working. Although we wouldn't necessarily look at that as a bad thing, as working any job is a means to an end. Sure, the job you might have now isn't fulfilling, but it's to get you by until you can either find a job you're happy with or to sustain you until you can start up a business of your own or win the lottery. 3. You slack off as much as you work hard. No, we're not telling you to slack off. Don't do this on purpose. We don't want any of you to lose your jobs. But if you naturally procrastinate during work hours for as long as you work, you might want to pay attention to this, as this little factoid might seem pretty surprising. So we all need a break. Whatever it is we're doing, whether it be manual labor, tech work, or something that's in the creative sector like writing or editing or voice acting, producing, etc., we all need a break. If you're the type of person who knows when to take a break, odds are you're destined for success. By taking the time to relax, this allows you to rejuvenate yourself. By doing this, you'll perform much better when getting back to work and can help prevent burnout. Letting yourself slack off now and again is how you pace yourself and keep the balance. 2. Failure isn't forever. We know it might seem like it lasts a lifetime, but if you know that it doesn't last forever, you're destined for success. Because of this, you've learned that the only people who never fail are those who don't try. When you fail, you don't see yourself as an overall failure of a person. Instead of this, you embrace each failure as an opportunity to learn something, and then you move on. If you still struggle with this at times, know that you'll never experience true success until you learn from all your past mistakes and past failures. The path to success is paved by your past mistakes, as it always determines whether or not you're on the correct path. The biggest breakthroughs typically come when you're feeling the most frustrated and the most stuck. It's this frustration that forces you to think differently, to look outside the box and see the solution you've been missing. All we're saying is that if you feel down about failing or something, don't. Yes, failure does suck, but in the long run, it leads to great things. So don't beat yourself up about it. Pick yourself back up and try again, and take the knowledge you gained from that failure and avoid what the catalyst was for that previous failure. 1. You accept what you can't change and change what you can. Despite what you might think, there's a massive difference between pessimism and practicality. If there's a hurricane headed your way, there's nothing you can do to stop it. Well, does that mean you should sit around and mope about it? No. Once you've accepted that there's nothing that can be done about the impending hurricane, you do your best to organize and deal with the impending effects of said hurricane. To give you a better example in terms of the world of business, let's say that your company isn't bringing in enough cash flow in order for you to keep employees on the team. If the company you worked for was forced to downsize and you were one of the unlucky few who got laid off, every moment you spend in denial just delays whatever is waiting on the horizon. Don't let this happen. Pick yourself up and get back on the horse. The longer you mope around, the more opportunities you miss. You're able to move on only when you start exploring your options and making plans to change what you can. Taking responsibility for changing the things you don't like about your life is one of the biggest indicators of success. And that's our list. Did we leave any out that you know about? Let us know in the comments section below. Please remember to subscribe and tap the bell button to be notified when new videos are uploading. Thanks for successfully watching the video.
Don't forget to like us and subscribe for more elite facts.